Hello, Annabelle. How are you?
Hey Angela, how are you? I'm great. How are you doing?
Yeah, doing good.
Awesome. Hello everybody. Today we have a special one because it's a little bit different, right?
Yes, today we're not doing board games.
Ooh, what? No board games? I'm sure board games will come up at some
Oh,
point.
no doubt.
Today we're going to talk about TV shows.
We are. Yeah.
So I'm not sure if it's going to be. We probably talk about some oldies, some shows that are on now, a little bit of a mix, but just stuff
Yeah.
that we watched and we enjoy.
Yeah,
And
we're sort of
Angela's
winging it, aren't
gonna,
we?
yeah. And Angela's got a list, so we're
I
gonna start with
do.
that.
Well, I'm going to start with a big one for me, which is Star Trek. So if
Ooh.
something Star Trek comes out, I'll watch it. Oh, very good. That is very good. I can't do that.
Live long and prosper, everybody. Okay, which one? Because there's so much Star Trek. Is it everything?
You know, my favorite Star Trek is probably Deep Space Nine, with The Next Generation a close second. But recently, of the newer ones, Strange New World. I love it. So good.
Why do you love it? What's so good about it? Because I haven't watched it.
I think I love it because it goes back to like the old Star Trek. It's very nostalgic feeling. It doesn't feel it's not all CGI and nonsense like Discovery. It's all about the characters, and it's like an adventure an episode, and it's so good. Really love it. The cast are great as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you start with Star Trek, then I gotta follow with Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Oh, okay, of course.
Because you know.
Star Wars.
Yes, I've been on my channel. I've already been labeled as a obsessed with Star Wars. So so yeah, Obi-Wan Kenobi. Have you watched Obi-Wan Kenobi?
Oh, see, I don't want to rain on your parade. I have
Okay.
watched quite a few episodes of Obi-Wan Kenobi, but of the Star Wars things, it's not one of my favorites, I'll say.
Okay. That's fair. Hey, I haven't even watched the Star Trek, so at least you watched some episodes and you have an opinion. I think out of all the Star Wars things that have come out recently, it is, as far as TV, it is my favorite. And the reason being is none other than Darth Vader. His presence, when he shows up, the world trembles. Like, I was literally scared watching this man just walk and kill people. It was so cool.
Okay, I'm gonna have to. I'll get back into it because I think I've only seen 3, and I was loving young Princess Leia.
Yes.
She was pretty adorable.
Yes, she would be definitely reason number 2 why I love it so much. That girl really did an amazing honor to Carrie Fisher and her portrayal of the character that we love and we adore, and this little princess. She looked exactly like Leia, not only physically but in her mannerisms and the way she talked and the things she said. It was like, oh my gosh, Princess Leia will so say something like that.
Yeah.
So
she's a great little actress, actually, that kid. Really well done.
Yes. Very, very nice. And Ewan McGregor is such a cutie. He's so, I don't think that he's like super good looking, but there's something about him that attracts, like you just, he's charismatic,
Yeah, that's fair. I'm glad you're enjoying it. What about Mandalorian? So you like Obi-Wan better than the Mandalorian?
Yeah, and the Book of Boba Fett. But of course, I've watched them all. I enjoyed the Mandalorian. I'm not going to say that I didn't. I mean, Grogu is adorable, and I don't want to spoil it, but there's a character from the original trilogy that comes out. I'm not going to mention who, but that was really exciting to see that. So there's some really nice highlights. But if I had to just stick to one, it would be. I just love backstory if it's well made, right? Because we all know what happened with 1, 2, 3. But if it's well made and it gives you that feeling, that nostalgia, I really enjoy it. And I know that there are some shows that we're going to talk about tonight or today that are going to be very nostalgic, and that's why we like them.
I'm going to ask you, did you see the trailer for Andor, the new one?
Yeah, I've watched. I was not gonna watch that one. I was gonna watch it, but I was not as interested until I saw the trailer.
Yeah, the trailer was really good. I'm super pumped for that one.
Yeah. I was like, you know what? I know how these people end up, and it's so sad. I don't know if I want to watch this. But then I saw the trailer, and I'm like, yeah, I want to watch this.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
All right, what else do you have on your list?
Oh, well, my list is going to be mainly sci-fi, and from memory, you're not a big sci-fi person, are you?
Who said
Other than
that?
Star Wars. You don't watch Battlestar Galactica and The
Of course
Expanse?
I watch Battlestar
Oh,
Galactica.
you did? Oh, okay, I've remembered that completely wrong. Well, Battlestar Galactica is on my list, of course, because that was one of my favorites.
Is this the new remake? Or
the remake. Well, I did watch the original as well, back in the day, obviously. But yeah, the remake, really good.
That show is so good. And speaking of that, if you've watched Battlestar Galactica and you love the whole Cylon and that not knowing who is a Cylon because they all look humans, you've got to play the game, because that board game, the Battlestar Galactica game, gives you that same feeling.
Somewhere.
Yeah. I got rid of mine. I don't even know why. I know why, because it was a 3-player game and up, and I never have 3 players. But whew, what a game! Every time I see someone walking around with it, I'm like, "Are you gonna play that? Can I play it? Can I join?"
Brilliant. I haven't played it. But three players. And back when we were doing like the whole hidden role thing, we were playing Dead of Winter whenever it came up, because we knew to play that one. So look, we're talking board games, Annabelle. Look what's happened.
I told you we were gonna get to it. But yeah, Battlestar Galactica. Who was your favorite character?
Oh, Starbuck.
Yeah.
Oh, mind you, Laura Roslin as well. I really liked her.
Oof. Yeah. Madam President.
I think I like most of them, to be fair.
Yeah, because the Admiral was amazing too.
So good, yeah.
They were really good. What a show! And what's her name? The Chinese girl. I don't know her name. I don't remember.
Oh, Boomer.
Was it her name?
That was her name in the show.
Okay.
The girl, she's in the Hawaii 5-0 or something now, isn't she? That actress.
See, that one I watched like one episode, and I'm like, this is not for me.
Yeah.
Hawaii 5-0. What else you got? I'm sure you have some stuff that I enjoy.
Oh well, I've got on my list. I've got every Star Trek I've written there. Oh, The 100. Did you ever watch The 100?
Of course, I watched The 100. I watched it twice.
Oh wow! I watched it twice as well, other than the last seasons, which I watched once. Kind of got a bit weird at the end there, but the first few seasons.
It got a weird, kind of like Lost got weird.
Yes. See, Lost is on my list as well. I really enjoyed Lost as well.
Yeah,
it's a shame when they sort of dip off at the end, isn't it? And you're like, oh man.
Because I watched Lost because my brother, when I went to visit my brother, he recommended it, and it was already finished. It was probably like 5 years after it was finished or something like that. I don't remember exactly. And he had the whole collection, so he said, "Here, you watch this." And he said, "Don't worry about the ending, just enjoy the journey." And I'm like, well, what is he talking about? And then, of course, then you're like, okay. Yeah. But back to which one? The 100. That was quite a ride. It was 5-6 seasons.
I think it was it 6 seasons? I can't even remember now. Yeah,
quite a ride. It was. They really kept us. The action. They every couple of seasons the bad guys changed. But they still made it so that you were invested in this group of people that you met when they were young and just coming out of the spaceship. I mean, the premise of it, if you haven't watched it, guys, is 100 young people that were in prison are sent to Earth to see if Earth is survivable, because the ones that are living in the Ark up in space are, that's not going to be sustainable for much longer, so they need a place to live. And these guys go and, well, let me tell you, there's things on Earth. Yeah,
because it's post-apocalyptic Earth, so it's after we've completely destroyed the Earth, so there's mutant things, and it's such a good show. I mean, I didn't like it at first. I would say anyone who decides to watch it, try and get over how annoying those kids are in the first few episodes, because it will put you off. But once you get into it, it's so good. Yeah,
the kids can be a little annoying because they're kids, but they all mature, and what a journey they go on, and what character development, and you really fall in love with each and every one of them, and with the relationships that they form with each other, and how things are not always black and white. And I think that's what comes across as the theme of the show, is like you can't be all good or all bad. Sometimes you're going to be in the middle.
Yeah, that's perfect. Oh, you've described it perfectly. Yeah, that's why it's good.
That one reminded me a lot of another one that I watched. I don't know if you watched this, is Shannara Chronicles.
Oh, do you know what? That's one of my favorite book series, and I only watched maybe 2 episodes.
It was also apocalyptic, and the part that I loved the most was how these people had like knives and very very what do you call it? Like
They're like archaic weapons.
Thank you for the English translation. Yeah, but they're living in the future, so you see our technology spread around, parts of the world. And my favorite part was when they go into a high school and they're looking through lockers, and there they are, dressed like warriors with knives and axes and all this. They don't look modern at all, but they're in a high school, and they find D20s, they find D&D dice, and I'm like, what? And they actually use them for something, it's too long to explain, but that was so cool. But guys, if you want to watch it, just be aware that the show got canceled and there's no ending to it. So.
Oh man, don't you hate that?
I hate that.
Just so painful.
It is.
You just reminded me of a painful TV memory there. There was this show called Invasion that came out. I think it came out maybe the late 90s.
Mm-hmm.
And oh man, I was so into that show. It was so good. And then it got canned, and it was like, I just want to know what's going to happen. I just need closure.
Right.
But it never came.
That's exactly what happened to my favorite show from the 80s that got redone. Do you know what this one means?
No.
Oh,
V.
Yeah. And it was redone. It was with this girl from Lost, Elizabeth Mitchell. Great actress. Very nice, by the way. I met her, and I was so excited.
Wait, stop. You met Elizabeth Mitchell.
Yeah.
How did this happen?
Oh, well, at a con. It's a funny story. You know how you can take pictures? You pay whatever amount of crazy money to take a picture with them. So I paid the amount of crazy money. And when it got to my turn, something happened, and they had to fix it. I don't know, the camera, I don't know what happened. The thing fell. So I was just standing there next to her, and she's like, oh my gosh, you're so tall. She's wearing heels, and she got off, and she's like, oh no, you're as tall as me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this lady is like so cool. Like, she's actually talking to me. We're not just, yeah.
I'm so glad to hear that she was nice. That's because I love her. She doesn't age, does she?
She does not.
Oh,
she does not. She was in The Purge as well. I think she was the president.
She's in Lost as well, isn't she?
Lost. Yeah, she was a doctor in Lost.
Oh, so good.
Yeah. All right, what else is on that list of yours?
Well, I've got V on my list as well, because that was one of my favourite shows back in the day. And I didn't mind the remake, to be fair.
No.
But it had Morena Baccarin in it from
yes, it did
as well.
Yeah.
Played into
I think it was
SciFi.
smart how they started in the first episode showing you what the visitors look like, because for us that watched the original, we already knew. It was a great reveal. It was like I Am Your Father reveal when we saw the visitors for the first time. It was that kind of like
shocking. Yeah.
Right. But now we knew, so it was very smart to do it first episode, get it out of the way. Let's move on.
Yeah, it was pretty good as those remakes go, that show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it got canned.
But it got canned.
And funny thing, it got canned when the show ended. All of the visitors were coming down to Earth to attack us, and boom, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't mind if a show gets cancelled and they've got time to wrap it up. I'm fine with that, but I don't like a loose end. Like, and people will go, just make your own ending, and I'm like, I don't want to make my own ending.
Right. Yeah, I know. And then sometimes they have fan fiction to finish it off, and it's not the same. A show that I guess we should talk about, because it's one of the reasons why I actually started Meeple Village. Winona Earp. Have you ever watched that one?
Oh, yes. I need to catch up. I think I'm on season 3.
Okay.
Yeah. I know it got wild, didn't it, after that? It went off the rails.
Yeah, but what a fun show. Like, I love the character of Winona Earp. Like, she's not your typical hero. She doesn't want to be a hero. She wants to be a drunk, lazy. I'm gonna just shoot my gun that kills demons and kill you because I can. But she's not a hero. She's not a bad person. She doesn't want to be a hero. And I think that's the one thing that I was like, what is this crazy show? Like, and then again, it's sci-fi, but it's cowboyish. SciFi, and woof, that will bring me back to the beginning of it all. What's the word I'm looking for? The show that started it all. With the V girl, you know the name.
Oh, Firefly, of course.
Thank
Cowboys
you.
in space. Yeah.
Yes, that one. Although if you want to think back, Han Solo was the first.
Yeah, they do
cowboy in
say
space.
that, don't they? That Star Wars is a Western in space.
Yeah, but Firefly, what an awesome show. I mean, you must have watched it and enjoyed it.
Of course. Yeah, big fan of Firefly. I think on the back of my computer, it's got the Firefly plaque. Like,
oh, cool.
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah, good show.
What else you got?
All right. Well, I'm gonna go into a couple of weird ones.
Okay.
Doctor Who and Torchwood.
What is it?
Doctor Who and Torchwood.
Oh, okay.
Right. And Warehouse 13, which is one maybe you've watched.
What's the name of it?
Warehouse 13.
No.
Oh, you got to get into it. It's a great wee show.
Okay.
Again, cancelled, finished.
Okay.
But yeah, such a cool like adventure and episode thing.
Tell me about it. What was it about?
So it's about this like secret warehouse, and they have to deal with, I wouldn't say magic artifacts, but like artifacts out in the world. And sometimes in the warehouse, the artifacts go a bit crazy, and they have to deal with that as well. But the characters in it are so good. It revolves around like a Mulder and Scully type pair, but my favorite character in it was H.G. Wells, who was played by a woman, which I just love. And the actress that played, I can't remember her name, but she's known for doing like different sci-fi type appearances. Yeah.
Okay.
I can't believe you haven't heard of that one. That's have you heard of Eureka?
I have seen Warehouse. What number is it? 13?
13.
Yeah, I've seen it. I just never got into I never watched the trailer. I didn't know what it was about. Eureka is the same thing. I know I've seen it. I don't know what it's about.
They're kind of similar. They're kind of like, I don't know. I don't want to say cheap because the production value on them is really good, but that's sort of not high level sci-fi, shall we say.
Okay. Well, there's one that we watched kind of because I made you watch it. Remember?
Okay. Yeah, The 7 Lives of Leia.
Yeah, it's a French one. So it is, but it's dubbed into English.
Yeah, you can have it dubbed. I prefer reading subtitles usually, but yeah, it was dubbed in English.
I don't remember how, but that one was one of the ones that I'm talking about that I thought we were going to talk about. That is kind of nostalgic because you kind of go back in time. So the premise is that Leia finds, or Leia, however her name is said, finds a dead body, and then next morning she finds herself in the dead guy's body, but years before he was killed in his past, and then for 7 days she lives in the body of people that are connected to the guy that was murdered, and she starts trying to figure out who killed this man. And the story is just, it keeps you like, I want to watch more. Like I would finish an episode and I'd be like, I wonder whose body she's going to jump into next. And I kept trying to figure out, it's going to be this one or that guy or the other one. Wow. And then when you watch the whole thing, it's like, what a good message too. I don't want to spoil it for you guys, but what a message. I think everybody should watch that show. And especially nowadays with the things that are going on in the world, so important to know that people do suffer because of racism, sexual orientation, all that stuff, because it relates to a little bit to all of that, and it's so, the twist is so cool because you think, I mean, at least I thought it was something completely different, and then you're like, ooh, that okay, sure.
Yeah, and the very end of it as well, like not going to spoil it by any means, but the end of it, I was like, whoa, what a way to end it.
Yeah, we need season 2. We need another season of that.
Yeah, that was really good. I'm really glad you put me onto that one, actually. That's The 7 Lives of Leia.
Right.
Or Leia.
Exactly.
Leia.
I don't know. I think it was Leia. I don't know. But
it was
all
good.
Right. What else is on your list? You got to have more juicy stuff.
Well, I'm going to mention Fringe because Anna Torv in that was amazing. And Chuck. Did you ever watch Chuck?
No.
Oh, see, Chuck's one of my favorite shows. Again, I wouldn't say high level TV making, a bit silly, but
Silly, I like silly.
really, really good. Yeah.
Okay. But is it sci-fi-ish? Silly?
It's a spy thing. So it's
Okay.
basically this guy who works in like a Best Buy type shop gets dragged into spy shenanigans.
Okay, that's cool. I
Really
enjoy
good.
that.
Yeah,
I like
it's a
silly.
good show. And it's
My
got
favorite-
Yvonne Strahovski in it, who is in The
Okay.
Handmaid's Tale.
Handmaid's Tale. Right.
Yeah.
If it's silly, I can. My favorite show is silly. You know it. I am representing. Here it is.
Yes.
DC
Well, I
Legends
like
of
that one as
Tomorrow.
well.
Yeah, I made you watch that one too. I mean, I know we talked about it, and I told you where to start. Because here's the problem with that show: it starts really slow, and you probably will give up if you start at the beginning. But if you start, what season was it that I told you to start? Is it 2 or 3? I think it's 3.
I think I actually started on 2, and then I went back and watched 1 because it was annoying me that I have actually watched all of them from the very beginning, but I'm not up to date.
Okay.
I think I'm 2 seasons behind.
Well, good news. It's finished. Again, It was canceled. But I just think that if you just watch, I think it was season 2. I don't remember which is a good season. The Bebo season. If you just watch,
yeah.
if you just watch that season, you don't need to watch the rest of it. Just watch that season, because that is sci-fi and silliness put together. Where you're watching the show and you're like, what else are they? What else? What are they doing now? Like one of my if you start watching, they what they do is they things happen and that break the past somehow, and they have to go fix it. So there's an episode where they're fixing the making of Star Wars because something happened to George Lucas, and they go and meet George Lucas and try to fix it. So there's some episodes that are golden, that are really good because you're invested because you know like the history. But then the Bebo thing is just silliness. It's like
absolute nonsense. I even said to Tracy, my wife, I was like, I've just watched The Strangest Thing.
I mean, you have a show,
good.
you have an episode that starts in a toy store with people trying to buy a Bebo doll, and then you go back to like the dinosaur time, and then all of a sudden you're with Vikings, and they're adoring or worshiping this doll that talks and says a couple of phrases, and they think it's Auden talking to them. It's like, what is
it is such a bizarre show, but it's a lot of fun. It's just one of those silly, again, not highbrow, shall we say, but just entertainment. Yeah, really good.
Silly. All right, what else you got? We got time for maybe a couple more.
Haven. Did you ever watch Haven?
No.
Well, I'm trying to remember exactly what it was about because I haven't watched it since it was actually on TV. But it's this girl that goes to this island and there's all this weird stuff happening. Kind of like a mini Lost, I suppose. But the island's inhabited. It's like a town. A little bit Cthulhu, a little bit sci-fi.
I can live with that.
I really liked that one. That was a good show.
You're gonna make me binge watch all these shows now.
Yeah, I've got a lot of geeky shows on my list for sure. Because
before we finish, we need to talk about your shirt.
Running up that hill, Stranger Things.
Yeah, baby.
My favorite nostalgic TV show.
Definitely. I just finished watching it today, catching up today, because I knew that I was going to talk to you, and I'm like, I had 20 minutes left, I think. Let me watch it before I meet with Angela, because I want to make sure that I'm up to date. What is it about Stranger Things? Because I see you wearing Stranger Things shirts and sweatshirts all the time. So tell us.
I love it. It's my era. It's my it makes me think of being a teenager playing D&D and just roller skating and all the things that I used to do when I was young to escape, life.
Right.
So I love it for that, for nostalgia.
I had a really hard time getting into it. I watched it back when it first came out, and it was too scary for me, and I said no, thank you. I love the whole playing D&D and stuff, but then when I went back and I said, okay, I'm gonna stick to it, the monsters got not so scary really quick until the end. Then you have the final monster who's really, really scary. But by then you're so invested in the characters and the show, and that you don't care. I'll take the
Yeah.
scary just because you want to know what happens. But it's a great show, and the 80s reference. Like I see details that because I grew up in the 80s. I'm like, oh yes, I drank a juice a Minute Maid. It was exactly like that. It was black with it was so perfect to see.
The
those little
detail
details.
is really good, isn't it?
Yeah, the Gap instead of Gap, which is they changed the name with the font, that they. Wow, yeah, it was really good. But if we're gonna talk about board games, then we need to mention Orphan Black.
Oh, Orphan Black! What a bloody brilliant show! And Tatiana Maslany, who's She-Hulk now.
She-Hulk.
For anyone watching She-Hulk and is thinking, oh, she can't act or anything that I've seen on Twitter, go and watch Orphan Black and tell me she can't act, because...
Yep. This lady, this show is about clones. She has clones all over the place. So this lady has to act as how many personalities? Different people?
Oh, I don't even know how many, but enough, half a dozen.
Yeah, at least half a dozen. I think probably more. And the reason why I say we have to talk about, if we were going to talk about board games, it would be Orphan Black that we need to talk about, is because it's full of board games.
Yeah,
do you remember which ones you spotted? And there's some that are in your face, but some of the ones you...
Well, they play some, don't they? I think they're playing Caverna at one point, maybe.
Which one?
Were they playing Caverna? They were playing one of those big farming sims at one point.
I think it was Agricola. They actually named it
Agricola.
Yeah. The first one I saw, when I saw that game, and I'm like, wait a minute, what? I know that. I own that. Like, that's the original, not even the second edition. It was Rune Wars. When I saw Rune Wars at the table and these people playing it, like, I was like, and then there was Agricola. There were more. I haven't watched in a long time.
Even in the background, like on shelves and things, there's a multitude of modern board games.
I remember when they had this scene where they go to, something happens at the geeks guy, the geek house, the apartment, and so the scene is all filmed in the apartment. And I had to watch the scene twice because the first time I was not paying attention to the scene. I was checking out all of the stuff that he had in his apartment. And I'm like, there's that. Oh, there's that. And then I'm like, let me rewatch because I have no idea what happened here. I was just too drooling about this guy's apartment.
Yeah, I think I actually screen capped some of them back in the day and shared them on Twitter.
Cool. Oh, nice. Of course, nice that you did that. Any new shows that you want to mention? I know we talked about She-Hulk. Are you not enjoying She-Hulk?
I'm an episode behind on She-Hulk, but personally, I'm enjoying it. I think it's funny. I like the little digs that it's having, maybe at those people that are very loud on Twitter at the moment, saying that it's terrible. Yeah, I like it. I think it's a good, fun show. I just feel bad that she's a woman playing a female lead and she's getting a lot of hassle for various things that the male characters do, and they get no hassle at all when they do it. So
haters gonna hate. What about House of Dragon?
I think I'm two episodes in. It's not terrible.
It's not terrible.
Yeah,
people love it.
Yeah, I stopped watching Game of Thrones. I think I told you.
Yes,
because of all the female violence and things.
Right.
And they were burning a young girl in one episode, and that was the episode I'd stopped watching. Yeah. So if I decide to get back in, at least I know where to begin from.
You have to know what you're getting into. Like that's why I stopped. I stopped watching when it was Game of Thrones, when it was the wedding between Daenerys and Joe Samoa, what's his name? Joe Aquaman.
Oh, Jason Momoa.
Jason. That's changed his name completely. Yeah, that guy. They were getting married, and the scenes where they were doing to other women, like right there in public. I was like, no. And I just finished watching the last. Well, I haven't finished. I have a couple more minutes, but I'm in the middle of watching House of Dragon, and again, this places that they go to with everybody doing everything, and it's just so in your face. And you need to be okay with knowing that that's just part of the show, but the show is good. I mean, the story is good, and I think it's a great message about how women are just tools, and it's great to have that message. Even today, I still think that message is important to put out there. That we're more than just baby makers. Because things are gotten better, of course, but are they perfect?
Yeah, I feel like though a lot of fantasy things don't take the fantasy thing far enough. Like they seem to base it on the history of Earth as opposed to a fantasy world. I mean, who's to say that in a fantasy world women aren't treated that way?
Right.
Do you know what I mean? But they always sort of lean on that a little bit. It's, I don't know.
Well, but I mean, I think a lot of times we see a lot of that to portray that message. Like sometimes, like I remember a lot of times there's hate for the half elves, you know, as a race, and I think that speaks of racism, you know, and they're not going to tell you. Yeah. So. Yeah. But I see what you're saying. I mean, I understand. Speaking of elves, the Lord of the Rings, what's it? The Ring of Power.
I'm really enjoying it. I know it is getting a lot of hate, but as you just pointed out, a lot of the hate that it's getting is from racists. So, boo.
I've only watched the first episode. I did think it was a bit slow. Like I was like, where's the action? Because you know, I had just come from watching Game of Thrones. I mean, not Game of Thrones, House of Dragon. Oh my God, all these names. And the first episode of Game of Thrones, they throw you into this jousting. What do you call it? And it is so much action and dragons and stuff. You know, the first thing you see is a dragonfly, and here you go back to and where's Kate Blanchett?
See, I like this new Galadriel because having read everything Tolkien's put out, I can see, you know, why she's acting the way that she is. But man, some guys on Twitter are really crying about it, aren't they? They really hate her.
I don't know. I don't do much social media, so I don't know. But to me, I have no issue with her. I just thought the show was a little slow, but I'm willing to give it a try and continue watching it because I want to know. I want to know how
that character sort of evolves.
Exactly how they got there, you know. But when I will be honest, when I heard, you know, because they'll start with a woman speaking, and I'm like, wait a minute, that's not the right voice.
Yeah, it is an iconic role for her, isn't it? I'm really enjoying it. I like the character building. I don't mind that there's a lack of action at the moment, and I love the way that it reminded me of D&D in a way. Of like, you've got all these separate characters all doing their own thing, but you know they're gonna, they're all headed to the tavern, right? You know that they're gonna become a party. I'm quite enjoying that.
Yeah, very cool. Any others before we go to game time?
Oh, we could go all night, couldn't we? But let's not.
Yeah. we could go all night, I know, but I think we've covered a lot. So if you want to, we can just go ahead and have some game time.
Yeah. Well, we're going to put up a picture of part of a box.
Right. So
for you to try and guess.
Yeah, this is guess the cover. So Angela's gonna put a picture here. Yeah. And you can leave us a comment and let us know what game is this piece of cover from.
Yeah. I've got a sneaking suspicion that Carl and Kabuki Kid are going to nail it because they do every time.
They're the champions. Well, guys, thank you so much for watching tonight. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you are going to do what I'm going to do, which is go binge watch some of this amazing shows that Angela talked about. If you want to recommend another show to just add to my endless hours of TV watching, let us know. Just tell us the name of the show and maybe a little bit of what it's about, so that we don't go completely blind.
Yeah, and anything. It doesn't need to be geeky. I'm big on reality TV. I know. Set me on fire. And true crime. Oh my goodness.
True crime. Look at that. Okay, sure.
Let us know. Let us know.
Yeah, let us know. We want to know what you guys enjoy. All right. Well, have a great rest of your day. And I'll see you next time.
See ya.
May you play more games.